Hi guys, I hope all of you are doing well. I'm Niladri Mukherjee. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I practice in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, and I'm the founder and the CEO of Nuvonation Immigration Consulting. Of late, I have started getting questions about PRTD, about permanent residency travel documents. Clients come to me stating that, well, my PR card had expired long back. I want to renew my PR card. Now I want to come to Canada as soon as practically possible. Tell me the way forward. Now, I have already made videos on this topic that's there on this channel, right? But consider this video as an update to all the information that's been provided in the previous videos and updated information as far as 2024 is concerned. Two most common questions that I see: that my PR card had expired, I'm not a permanent resident of Canada, how can I come to Canada? Important to understand, the expiry of the PR card does not mean that you are not a permanent resident of Canada, right? So your PR card might have expired, but if unless and until the permanent residency has been taken away from you, or you yourself have terminated your permanent residency, by the books of the government of Canada, you are still a permanent resident of Canada. So that's the fundamental premise for which that you mandatorily need to understand. Second thing, so if you are still a permanent resident of Canada, can you still come to Canada even after your PR card expired? No, that's the exact reason of the PR card. It's a travel document. You need that document for you to come to Canada. Without that PR card, you cannot really come to Canada, right? So because of that, you need a PR card to come to Canada. So the new PR card can sometimes lead to the renewal of your permanent residence, if you want to understand it that way. Other question that I get the most is that what is the probability of success? That I could not meet the residency obligation because of a range of family issues. Now everything is done and dusted. I am now all eager to come to Canada. What you really have to understand that obviously the case would be different from person to person. The situation could be different from person to person. This is how the government of Canada views this. How old the case is. If your case is like 1 year old, 2 years old, within the 5 year time frame, probably the chances of success would be decent, I would say. If it's a very old one, let's say 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, the chances of success may not be that high, because obviously because of all the practical reasons, right? Why did you leave Canada? What all efforts did you make to come to Canada? Did you have any establishment when you were in Canada? Do you have any child or children who's getting impacted because of your non-PR? All those things have to be put together. Applications form need to be filled up. Government fees need to be paid. Then either you can make an online application, or you can put together everything and carry that application with you in one of the port of entry in the United States, and see if the officer gives you an entry to Canada based on the documentation. So regardless of whether you are submitting an online application or you are coming to the United States border, the documentation is the key. The submission is the key. So it's really the onus lies on you to ensure immigration understands why they should give you the PR back, right? The moral of the story is the success rate is really dependent on the very specific case. The success rate is also dependent on how old or how new the case is. The newer cases have higher success rates as compared to the older ones. The other aspect that you have to understand is that there is no such hard and fast rule that the government will mandatorily respond to you in such and such period of time. This is a very common question that I hear, that I have submitted my application 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 8 months back, still I did not get a response. It is very, very normal. I have cases where people have been waiting for over 1.5 years, yet we did not hear back anything from immigration. Very, very common. Depends on how long these guys take, and with all due honesty, this is probably not a priority with IRCC to like revamp one of the files that's being very old now, right? That's how generally the every department works. So patience is the key. Now, if you decide to come to Canada, let's for example next month or next to next month, a PRTD probably will not be a great idea for you, because it is going to take time. You can then think of renouncing the PR option, in renouncing your permanent residence and applying for a visitor visa. Depends case to case. I cannot comment on the case specific situation without knowing it. That could probably be a better option then, because PRTD, regardless of where you're applying it from, you're applying from India or you're applying it from Sri Lanka or Pakistan, it is going to take a very long time these days. The application processing time of PRTD for the older cases at least have gone up quite substantially from the end of 2023. That's what at least I could see from my practice. Beginning of 2023, it used to take about 4 to 5 months on an average, and the processing time may be due to the higher number of application submissions. I don't know. The overall application processing time has gone up and gone up quite substantially these days. So the patience is something that is to be required. I think I have already discussed about the success rate thing. It is dependent, very, very dependent on the case. It is an expensive application, it's a complicated application, it takes time, and it could very well be a possibility that even after you spend so much amount of time, money, and energy, the application is unsuccessful. I have also seen the cases where people have got the approvals literally within 3 to 4 months, right? So it both the scenarios could happen. An application of a PRTD is not like, it's unless and until you obviously have followed the residency obligation. An application of a PRTD does not in any way mean that it is going to get approved. So that uncertainty will always be there regardless of how strong that application is. So this is the summary of the PRTD as far as 2024 is concerned. We work on this kind of applications a lot. If you need our professional support with your PRTD application or residency obligation, the first step would be a professional consultation through the website. I'll be more than happy to have a case specific discussion with you, and we can go from there. Hope this helps. Bye now.